I've got to do the news!
Very good evening, people. Hope you're all having a good week so far. Let me know how you're brewing in the chat. Welcome to the Brews at 10. I'm your humble host Lefty. Thanks for joining us on My Left Eye this evening. Let's brew this thing. No poll this evening. That's one less thing for me to keep my left eye on. Do make sure that you hit thumbs up though when you join us on stream, people. Much appreciated. One or possibly two updates on the channel. We are still edging closer towards 6,000 subscribers, so please do keep sharing our content. Those of you who do, and those of you who don't, please think about that simple gesture. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. Erin Gray was first in the chat this eve. Hope you're well. Hetty's there as well. Nice to see you. Graham Turner as well. Solidarity and Free Palestine. Oh, Graham, by the way, thanks for that super chat at the end of the last stream. The lagging on the chat window meant that I couldn't give you thanks live on air, but a belated thank you. In fact, can we give a belated shout out to Graham Turner, Evolution or Revolution, in the chat, please, everybody. Good to see some Palestine flags going up early as well. So what's cometh up this Tuesday Brews Day? We're going to take a bit more of a deep dive analysis into the Andy Burnham appearance. Did put a video out about that without too much analysis on it, so I'm going to do a bit more of a comprehensive overlook or review, if you like, on tonight's stream. as well, and we've got the very first in the new edition of Hot Seats, the very latest Hot Seats, right here in Manchester. It's the big one, people. It's the mayoral elections. This is potentially the second biggest election as far as we're concerned here on My Left Eye's Manchester-based channel. Second to the general election. Very excited. That is because, looking at the local elections recently, you certainly have to say that the Green Party have got a good shout. So we'll be taking a look at their candidates. Geraldine Coggins, a little bit later on in Hot Seats. Fantastic name as well. Zach Polanski is a fan of the channel. I wonder if we can reel Geraldine in, and we'll see. Okay. We've also got some updates on non-violent direct action. What can I say without giving too much away? We do have a verdict where a court case is concerned, and also the launch of new project or action wave, if you like, as well, from another organisation that I'm proud to say I'm a supporter of. But I won't say whom just yet. Regular viewers will know that I'm in a few organisations. Graham, yes, we've also magically found £15 billion stuffed down the back of the sofa. The defence spending review has been revealed. Former Defence Secretary John Healey is particularly concerned. He, of course, quit, believing we should be getting more towards 28-30 billion over the proposed length of time, that is. This isn't a one-off change in budget. This is going to be progressive over a number of years, basically. But yes, 15 billion has just suddenly magically appeared, and a couple of things are worth noting on that one. Well, just very quickly, because that's not actually a featured item on the show, we'll just quickly address that. Thank you very much for bringing it up in chat. I was potentially looking for a way to segue or wedge that topic in, but you've beaten me to it, so that's fair enough. First of all, the reaction, and just listening to some of the reaction earlier and seeing a few snippets of interviews with people in government, so on and so forth. Because it's defence, all of a sudden people are very enthused and have a lot to say and serious opinions about the future of our country, the safety of our country as well. And one can't help but think, I can't help but think, certainly, with the climate crisis being my number one concern at the moment, of course, and it should be everybody's. I just wish that they gave as much of a damn about that as they did defence. Because some of the hyperbole as well that we're hearing now. We're in the final day of June, where we've hit record-breaking temperatures not once but twice, 2 days in a row. There's another heat dome looming, set to come in from the west. It's slowly creeping its way over the Atlantic as we speak, or the dynamo that will create it, that is. Anyway, that's happening, that's real, that's happening here and now, and I'm not certain if it was John Healey himself, but somebody in one of the interviews that I mentioned earlier, in a completely fear-mongering agenda, proposed that if we didn't up the budget, and I'm slightly paraphrasing here, but essentially the imagery and air quotes prediction remain solid. He said that if we didn't, and you're going to have to forgive my language here, people, there would be Russian jackboots marching up our streets and raping our women. This is something they propose will happen before the year 2030 at the moment, which is the reason for their sense of urgency. Completely ludicrous. I don't know where they're getting it from. We're just expected to throw a load of money at something that's going to be deemed classified information with regards to the validity of such claims, whether it came from John Healy or not. But we're going to hear further such hyperbole coming in, even further intensity, I think. And yes, of course, with 4 million children in poverty in the UK and all of the other socio-political problems that we have, that 15 billion could be certainly better well spent. This will actually come up in Burnham's speech. Of course, on this occasion I have seen this already. Naturally, we've already put a video out about it. But he did bring up the auditing process, which you can see in chat as well, Heddy. Good point. This is for defence contracts. Think what happened during COVID, but this time with a blue rosette. You know, it's going to turn out that Mick, who lives, you know, 2 doors down from Lucy Powell, owns a submarine company that must be operated out of his shed or something, and they have some millions of untendered pounds, my friend. Not friend, person who I don't even know. He definitely doesn't own a shell company and can definitely build submarines. Even if it's all to a standard required. So in the end, John Healy's throwing his toys out of the pram, if you want to put it. There was another figure in defence, you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who quit alongside him. They haven't got the way. Well, they did put a bit of pressure on Keir Starmer with the move, of course, who has since quit, but it would be presumably Andy Burnham, who will be in charge of implementing that budget, even finding the money for it himself. So they've put that in his lap, yeah. They've kicked that can down the road, or up the road in this case, to Manchester, because there is apparently going to be a number 10 Manchester and all this other Manchesterism stuff. Oh god, anyway, we'll get into that when we get into Burnham. We'll kick off with a comedy clip though, straight away, people. Regular viewers will probably be familiar with this outlet, former YouTubers, the Juice Media. They do their honest advertising series of videos, which you might have come across before, even if you're not a long-time viewer. I've not seen this one yet myself, but the topic is Palantir, obviously. Something that's been coming up recently a lot, even here on stream, so let's see their take on this. There's a link in the description if you want to go and subscribe to the channel. I highly recommend you do, and there's a link for this video as well if you want to rewatch.
This is actually very serious.
Hello, I'm from the government, with an update on humanity's gentle slide back into feudalism. As foretold in scriptures like Idiocracy and Back to the Future 2, we are now entering what experts call the find out stage. Brought to you by Brando. It's got electrolytes. And now please rise for our first trillionaire. The product of decades of policy failure, taxpayer handouts and ketamine. Hail! Of course, when you wake up to the obscene inequality we've enabled, you'll want to fight back. That's why billionaires are building the tools to protect themselves. From you, tools like Palantir. Hi, I'm from Palantir, the military contractor and AI software company, named after the all-powerful Seeing Stones Tolkien warned us not to leave in the hands of evil bastards. Thankfully, we are very wise and balanced, like our CEO, who can't stop talking about killing people, wants an AI arms race, and gets a boner talking about the West's superiority in applying organized violence. And our founder, who thinks Greta is the Antichrist,
knows about the Antichrist,
and no longer believes freedom and democracy are compatible. Hail! By freedom, of course, Pete means freedom for him and his broligarch mates to rule the world. And that's where Palantir comes in. Let's meet some of our valued clients. Hello, I'm from ICE. Kidnapping people off the street is hard work, but not with Palantir. Palantir makes it easy for us to link your tax file, social security, license, and plates into AI-driven hit lists. Sure, we mostly use it on migrants now, but Palantir will come in real handy when we need to round up the resistance. Thanks, Palantir. Hello, I'm from the government of Israel. Committing war crimes is hard work, but not with Palantir. AI-assisted targeting makes it simple to murder thousands of people, even if most of them are civilians, according to our own reports. Thanks for supporting our genocide, Palantir. Here at the British government, we heard Palantir is used for war crimes and said, hey, let's give them a contract with our NHS. Could someone abuse that data? No. It's not like Palantir's UK CEO is the grandson of a known fascist, Nazi-loving anti-Semite.
He certainly is.
Here at the Australian government, we have no fucking clue. So while others are ditching Palantir due to fears over data safety and its ties to El Duce, we've let Palantir into our defense department, banks, and even supermarkets. G'day, I'm from Coles. Price gouging you wasn't enough, so we hired Palantir to track and cut costs on our already underpaid serfs. I mean, staff. Sadly for us, people are realizing what fucking psychos we are here at Palantir. That's why France just ended our contract. British MPs want us out of the NHS, and GetUp is campaigning to kick us out of Coles, which is a good start. Except Palantir is just one head of the Hydra. The underlying problem are these billionaire shitcoins and the feudal dystopia they're building around us. So if you like democracy...
I would just quickly like to add that Sadiq Khan kicked them out of London as well recently. You know, kudos for that.
Now would be a great time to wake the fuck up and stop them while you still can. This has been a message from your local government franchise. Good luck. Authorized by the Department of Tech Bro Feudalism.
Oh, it looks quite familiar. That in the back, it's a bit of a hot seat situation going on there at the end of the Juice Media clip. There's a link in the description. Tons and tons of videos. They focus a lot on Australian politics. You might have noticed the accent, but not specifically, not strictly. There is a lot to go through in their catalogue, so get in there and see what you can find. Aaron's checking down the back of his sofa for 15 billion. No luck yet. No, same here. Bill, do you want to have a look again? Just get right down behind the cushions this time. Yeah, great. Right to the springs. Okay, back to serious issues, because as you saw before the clip, this is a serious channel about politics and society from a left-wing perspective.
This is actually very serious.
It is, and things are apparently getting serious here in Manchester. Not only do we have the mayoral, I keep nearly saying by-election, there have been so many by-elections recently, the mayoral election coming up in a month. Andy Burnham was also here, giving his speech, setting out his plans. Let's get into things. Regular viewers will know that I don't really buy the Burnham the Saviour thing. I have some very strong reservations indeed, not just about the lack of democracy in his path to becoming Prime Minister as he seems set to do, but also just as a person, just as a politician. So we'll go through that as we get into the video. This is one where I guess you can make your full thoughts known if you have any. It won't count as spoilers because I've already seen this one. On we go.
Good morning, everybody.
It's 20 past 10, Andy. He can't even get the time right, this guy, and he's supposed to lead our country.
Are you ready for this?
This crap that I've written. How do we prepare? How do we get ready? Make your own minds
I'm
up.
sounding like I used to sound when I used to DJ across this.
I'm just going to skip through this first minute or so. Yeah, great to be here. Blah blah blah. Love Manchester. So he's in the People's History Museum, right? So this is in Salford, pretty much, and not Manchester. If you want to get technical. Yeah, and large areas of Salford were actually owned by Karl Marx's father. He lived in Salford, spent time with Engels in Salford, of course. There are pubs around. I've been in pubs that the man himself went in and other various buildings in the area. Yeah, so a very strong connection between Marx, Engels and Manchester that I think Burnham wants to try and not appropriate, hint at, but this guy's no Marxist by any stretch of the imagination. Let's get one thing straight, just about the location. So I'll skip past the great to be here formalities.
I've had to get special permission to wear them this
A bit
morning.
of a joke about the suit here.
Kenny, about that.
He's
However,
he's got special Manchester clothes, apparently.
I have bowed to public pressure on one front. I have bought some new running shorts. It was either do that or change the decency laws, and I opted for the former. But I can't tell you how glad it makes me that we meet at this big moment in one of my favourite places on earth, the People's History Museum. It holds real significance for me, and it's not just because one of my old coats is in a glass case upstairs. And can you believe it, comes off second best alongside...
Yeah, Bilderberg, Salford folk are. Very proud to be from Salford. There's a great distinction. It is a city in its own right, for anybody who doesn't know. Two cities attached to each other, Manchester and Salford. There's often a lot of confusion. For example, a lot of people describe Salford Quays as... being in Manchester when it isn't. Other examples.
Michael Foot's infamous donkey jacket.
Michael Foot would fucking hate you, you fucking fuck.
It's because these galleries tell the story of our
Sorry, that was a
country
bit...
better than anywhere else. How through time it has not been run in the interests of the many. And how ordinary
He's borrowing Corbyn's lines as well, the bastard.
people have fought to change that status quo and make it fairer.
He literally ran against Corbyn and looked devastated when he lost. Corbyn got the vast majority of votes, of course, twice. More people even voted for him the second time after the first wave of usurpers tried to swoop in. Backstabbers is a more accurate description. I'll actually be coming on to that topic shortly.
Today, we must take inspiration from that history and get ready to repeat it. The time has come to build the broadest possible coalition of people to lift Britain back up to where we all want it to be. What hope can we have that it will be different this time? That's the question I would be asking if I was a voter right now. It's the one I want
You can still vote for yourself, you know. You are a voter.
to answer as clearly as I can today, and in doing so, give the new direction the country is looking for.
This sounds familiar because we heard it 2 years ago, and we've heard it many times before that as well.
After 10 years of
Someone didn't
political
turn the phone off, I
turbulence since
think.
Brexit, and 20 years of falling living standards since the 2008 financial crash, Westminster hasn't been working for people, and it hasn't been working for a very long time. In fact, it is broken. And as a result, the country isn't where it should be. It is stuck in a rut.
We're still, you know, we're still in the North Sea between the Channel and the Irish Sea. We're still geographically, unless this hasn't been widely reported of. Please tell me if something's happened. We moved to the middle of the Pacific Ocean or something.
And clearly we can't go on like this.
That would explain these
My
heat waves.
generation of politicians, including me, must take responsibility.
Right, then leave the stage, fuck off, and never darken our door again.
We haven't been good enough. But instead of being honest about that, the parties have continued
He's an asshole,
with
sir.
politics as usual, finger-pointing, point-scoring. Now, that might matter less in a world where people's lives are getting better. But when they are not, it is dangerous and destructive of what remains of public trust in politics. We cannot go through another decade like the one we have just had.
Well, thanks to the efforts of Starmer and all the other neoliberals, they did set our party back at least a decade. And of course, you were party to that as well yourself. Now, we're not made of decades, you know, to spare. And how long are we going to have to wait before we get a genuine socialist government, even at least a democratic socialist one? It's not like I'm calling for an immediate shift to anarcho-communism or anything like that, Andy. But please, measuring the rate of success in terms of decades isn't very good.
We need a new determination to raise living standards of every single person in this land. And we must accept that, to do that, to fix the economy and the country, we need to change politics, and we need to do it now.
That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. You need to change politics. It's not so much how hollow the words are, it's how much people lap them up. And believe me, I've seen Andy Burnham speaking in public. I've even appeared at the same events at he once or twice. And he is a very good public speaker. But this is a complete shift now. We've heard this shift in tone, in language, ever since he announced his intentions to stand as the MP in Makerfield, U-turning on previous policies, so on and so forth, and now he's drifting even further towards the boardroom language of neoliberalism, the Starmerisms and all these sentences, words that they think sound good, that are well received. But you're not talking to a boardroom or like a bunch of CEOs here, Andy. You're talking to British voters, and there's got to be some substance behind it. There really has.
So let me state my clear intention as I put myself forward. True to the motto of this city, I am going to do things differently. I am going to break with the more of the same approach that has got us here. I am going to give Britain the circuit breaker it needs. By building...
It's too bad he didn't break into a Partridge moment at this point and pull over a whiteboard or something and explain what circuit breakers are, literally.
A more collaborative politics in Westminster by taking power out of the centre and putting it in the hands of the people and places who can use it best.
Oh, you went through all this trouble to get into power. You waited so long, what, just to give it away, did you? I don't think so.
And in so doing, creating a new sense of agency, possibility and hope flowing around the country. We will...
Just cut to the chase and tell us how you're going to get around the party's fiscal rules, Andy, and if you're willing to break them, why you're willing to break them. Give us some figures, you know, give us some actual projections in terms of how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost, the number of staff that you're going to need, for example, and at least a basic logistical function. Yes, there are other countries that don't have centralised governments in Europe, but you're going to have to spell it out.
We'll make politics work for you and the place where you live. I know it can be done because we have done it here. When I started as mayor in 2017, we set about building a new approach, a new politics based on the exact opposite of the Westminster approach. Place first, not party first. Problem solving, not point scoring.
We want more democracy, and that's why I packed my bags up as your mayor to go over to Wakefield and try and get an easy path into Downing Street. Go democracy. Is that part of this Manchesterism that he goes on about? Because apart from turning your nose up at Starmer over the bus fares, there's been very little else. Those buses aren't nationalised either. Some might make the claim, but they're not. Neither is Northern Rail. Of course, it's a franchise. And a lot of the claims that he makes regarding Manchester's independence, or that he's given to Manchester, that is somewhat overstated. Because even though it is good to have those fares as they are, it's still the privatised structure.
Long term, not short term. A decade on, it's incredible how much we've been able to achieve by working together instead of fighting against one another. The Greater Manchester...
Shouty bloke, nice to see you. He's stuck on caps, don't bitch in the chat.
Manchester Way is based on strong partnership between
And
all
Lou Garou
sectors,
as well.
public,
Nice to see.
private,
Solidarity.
community, voluntary, academic, faith, and our trade unions. We ask everyone to face the same way and then pull in that same direction together. Let me give you an example. When we realised
Please, because it, again, just sounds like boardroom talk to me.
the last Conservative government had done something significant by introducing 45-day work placements for young people linked to T levels, we set ourselves the mission of finding one for every young person who wanted one. Over the course of last year,
Right.
we rang round our businesses in the city region and with the help of hundreds of companies delivered our goal of 1,000
Don't say deliver.
extra work placements.
I did point out one or two of the delivers and changes that were in the video. I'm not going to do a full Postman Twat game here. But there you see again the continuation of the language and the syntax.
That's 1,000 extra young lives changed every year, and it shows what a place can do when it works as one. For Britain to get back where it should be, those same principles need to be applied now to how we run the country, pull in the same direction, move forward together. But let's not kid ourselves. This is not as easy as it sounds.
You're not addressing a bunch of stockbrokers here, like trying to form some international conglomerate or something, Burnham. What does that mean? All pulling in the same... What does it pissing mean?
Westminster and Whitehall
Yeah, get the bingo cards out, Doc. Nice point. Deliver. Black hole, plan, change, fix, inheritance. You know the usual suspects.
are set up for conflict, and they require radical change if the country is to get back on track. I left Westminster a decade ago with the Mayor
Oh, you should have never come back.
of the Liverpool City region, Steve Rotherham, because we could see it simply wasn't working for the northwest of England and the people here, and indeed other parts of Britain.
So far, the only difference is the accent. He is a better orator, of course, and there's no flags.
The same thing. The Parliament I returned to on Monday is full of good people, many of them here in the audience today, members of Parliament who've joined us. And they are working hard every day, trying to do the right thing for the places.
Oh, they were just walking past the People's History Museum. Some of them have come 200 miles, and it's definitely not a rigged crowd.
That they represent. But it's hard, it's too hard for them to make change. Why? Because power is not in the hands of those places that they represent, but held by an insufficiently accountable, outsourced state.
And we've got JK and Comrie in the house. Nice to see you people. Hope you're well. Solidarity. We're just taking a bit of a deep dive into Andy Burnham's speech in a bit more detail.
We are one of the most over-centralised countries in the world. And worse, that over-centralised heart of the country is not pulling in the same way, but in different directions. That is the reality of Westminster now, both within our parties and between them, and between the departments of Whitehall. I'll be honest, I was worried about what I found on my return last week. It is a more fragmented,
Were they all drunk?
disjointed place than the one I left. And frankly, unhappier. I will work hard to change that culture, leading from the front and showing how things can be different. Letting MPs be authentic representatives and not using the whip system to create fear or close down debate. Involving more people in the work of the government and drawing on the breadth and depth of talent and expertise our party has to offer. While the political direction I set is not up for negotiation, I will...
And this is, remember, you'd think that he was saying this while he had the keys to number 10 in his pocket at this point. It's very presumptuous of him as well. He's pretty much just coming up and remember, prior to the by-election in Makerfield, he brushed off any questions about his national intentions, saying, "Oh, I'm just concentrating on Makerfield." Now that he's won the seat, he said absolutely sod all about Makerfield, and now you got this address, in which this is what I'm going to do when I'm Prime Minister, which is what I'm definitely going to be. And everyone's just nodding along. Jesus Christ.
Build an inclusive team at the very highest level so that all parts of the party and the country can see themselves reflected and represented in it. And may I say, I will not announce those decisions on appointments. Certainly not today, and indeed not until the end of this process. So until then, feel free.
Well, you're still very keen at being confident in announcing that you're going to completely change the structure of and logistics of how government works.
To discount the wild speculation in circulation.
But you won't confirm that Ed Miliband might be Chancellor of the Exchequer, for example. Okay? But you're free to tell us that you're going to change the very fundamentals of politics. Quite interesting.
Message for the back of the room there. Good morning, Mr. Mason.
Hubris, hubris, hubris.
I will reach out to other political parties to find as much common ground as we can.
Well, if you reach out, you probably feel the sensation of a single-digit finger.
And build that more collaborative approach I spoke about a moment ago. So, a greater sense of unity in Parliament will then allow us to give a clearer sense of direction to Whitehall. I was struck by recent comments from ministers.
You're going to work with Nigel Farage and Richard Tice, are you? Because I don't know if you're aware, Andy, but they're the biggest threat to a Labour government at the moment, according to the polls.
Expressing their deep frustration at the Whitehall turf wars. Like Parliament, the civil service is full of good people trying to do the right thing, but they are held back by the structure and culture in which they have to work.
Yes,
it is too
Andy, it's called fucking capitalism.
Adversarial, and too much time is wasted with departmental silos battling each other and battling the Treasury rather than getting things done. How can the country pull in the same direction when that is the reality at the very top?
Revolution, obviously. God, do you even do politics?
And as mayors, I'm sure I speak for the front row here, as mayors, we have felt similar frustration over the years when those same departments constantly push back against our legitimate requests to improve our places by devolving a fraction of the power and resources they hold. The truth is this: the country spends too much time arguing and not enough time doing.
Wholesale, which departments really get into it, not just this. You'll have more power. You'll have more.
I'm not sure this Whitehall culture could ever be justified. It wasn't justified when I was a minister.
Bearing in mind, I've mentioned this several times, not just on streams but in videos, there are several organisations that we have at the moment, some of them have been around for a few years or longer now, working towards citizens' assemblies and a House of the People, or a citizen's house, if you prefer it to be called, but essentially replacing the House of Lords with something a lot more representative, made up of people chosen by sortition instead of class and nepotism, as it is at the moment.
Almost 20 years ago, but it certainly can't be justified now. The stark imbalance in resources between national government and local government is holding back growth. If councils can't fix potholes, what chance do they have of bringing forward major...
He's slacking himself off. You were the mayor of Manchester, and now, Look at the bloody Mayor of Manchester. He can't even fix the pissing potholes, can he? It's you're talking about, you fucking dumbass.
Regeneration schemes to get growth going. While national government has got bigger, particularly since the pandemic, local government is threadbare and without the resources to fulfil even statutory responsibilities. This is not just bad for councils and the areas they serve, it is bad for everywhere. It is bad for London and the South East. The whole country suffers when the regions and nations are not meeting their potential.
Blah, blah, blah. Fucking Northern Powerhouse this. That was even like when Cameron was in. Jesus pissing Christ. Is it just another, variation on that, or permutation of words to describe the same thing? It won't come into fruition because eventually you're going to run into, first of all, as I said earlier, Labour's internal fiscal policy, and then after that, the bond markets, and so on and so forth, Bank of England. And how are you going to deal with that?
And Londoners are left with an overheated economy and an overcrowded housing market. It is actually bad for national government too, because we will never get the growth up to the level Britain needs unless every single postcode in the land is set up to contribute to it. This country hasn't thought in that way before, but with the Makerfield test at the heart of decision-making, it will do from now on.
What about the Gorton and Denton test? Or the Brighton by-election that were mentioned on that? What do you mean? It was a test. In no sense whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. It was actually very unique because of Burnham, of course, and this, it wasn't your standard by-election, it's just one other simple MP. It was the fact that you're using Makerfield as a stepping stone towards Downing Street. So it's not a litmus test for anything, really. You cannot say, either statistically or structurally, that was a very typical by-election that you can use as a metric for the whole country, because I don't mean it in the positive or football sense. There's only one Andy Burnham, if you know what I mean. And at the moment, this is the best that they've got. It's Burnham or bust, I guess, as far as Labour's concerned, because they're still just serving up the same old swill, just in a different order. And previous failures such as Ed Miliband come into that as well. Just no quality there. This is literally all that they've got. Quite sad, isn't it, really? What did he get in the leadership contest? 5 to 7% of the votes or something. And now this. It's fucking shocking. It's fucking grotesque, actually, the more you think about it.
To make it happen, we will bring about the biggest rebalancing of power our country has seen. It is time for Whitehall to accept that growth cannot...
Bella, you're talking to someone in an organisation called Take Back Power, which we're going to be seeing more of later on. If you want to talk about taking back power, I'll show you what it's really about.
...be ordered from the top down. Instead, it can only be nurtured from the bottom up. It comes from having the power at ground level to make a real difference. From a clear shared vision that everyone can understand and investors can back. It comes from running sound finances, as we have done here in Greater Manchester, which in turn gives businesses the stability.
Yeah. That must be why there's still homeless people on every major junction trying to beg for money at the lights, isn't it? And why you're falling over homeless people as you walk up Market Street. That must be why you can barely walk 50 yards without being stopped and asked if you've got any spare change over and over and over again. And obviously there's only so much spare change you can have and so much you can give. If you literally gave to everybody who you came across, just walking, half a mile or so in the city centre of Manchester, you'd probably have to take up an extra job.
And the confidence to invest, increasing their productivity and adoption of new technology. It comes from placing our universities at the heart of local economies, as all the mayors do, and bringing the innovation-led approach through start-ups and scale-ups. It comes from committing to decent infrastructure in all parts of the UK and getting national investors to back the aspirations set by regions. It comes from giving people the security of a good home and good employment so that they can be as productive as possible, from good mobility and an ability to afford the basics. And it comes from not leaving everything to the market, but public intervention where necessary to set higher ambitions for towns, as we did in Stockport, and kickstart the process of change. This is Manchesterism.
Game begins now. Oh, there's the real audience. First.
Very poor indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
It is a vision for good growth and a rejection
Just say
of
growth.
the old trickle-down
fucking
model.
magic spell. What's the magic? Come on, I'll ask Burnham now. Excuse me. Dry throat. Need some quality refreshments. There we go. But what's the magic number of GDP, Burnham? I've asked a lot of your predecessors and other people who've appeared on mainstream television. What's the magic number of GDP where we all are employed but not work to death, where we all have a roof over our heads, where we all have access to public transport, for example, and access to things like, clean water, where we can afford our bills, our utilities, so on and so forth. There isn't one, because growth and GDP is just a rich man's dick measuring contest.
And like the ideas this museum celebrates, which grew here and changed the country, so all parts of the UK should now be given the chance to develop their own version of the same, focusing on the things that matter most to them. Good growth in every British postcode. What a sea change that would be in the way UK government thinks about our own country. Places no longer forgotten or written off, as they have been in the past, but supported to make the best of their assets, seeing the positives in all places. And there are positives in all places, in all postcodes across this United Kingdom. Let's always...
Better postcodes. And clap, 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 clap. That's what's happening. They're lapping it all up. Can't believe it. Really can't. All he's basically said with those sentences was better postcodes. Better for postcodes. Have you got a postcode? I've got one. Everyone's got a postcode. Fucking hell.
Remember that.
Yeah, Comrie, and well timed as well, there in the chat with that point. All parts of the UK is just code for all parts of England. Of course, he's talking about a devolved England where you have power in the north and in the south. I just want to very quickly say as well, I do support that. I do support that on principle, but I don't think Burnham is going to follow up on this promise. I really don't. And there are other campaigns out there to, well, go so far as having the North as an independent country in itself, the Northern Independence Party. I don't know if you're familiar with them. It started around COVID, and they've got the logo with a whippet on it. I don't know if you've seen it with the sort of burgundy and yellow. Anyway, yeah, they propose that between, where would it be now? It will be between Cheshire and the border of Scotland, that all the counties between there, Northumberland, Yorkshire, Lancashire, Cumbria, so on, Merseyside included, are independent of England and a country in their own right, similar to Northumberland as it was as a country, not a county, many centuries ago. So I am for devolved power, but Comrie makes an excellent point that, of course, the Welsh and the Scottish alike have been calling for their independence for a considerable amount of time now. And even though aside from those organisations and grassroots political parties that I just referred to, nobody's really been talking about this, and this has really come out of left field from Andy Burnham as a proposed policy, air quotes. But yeah, the Scottish independence referendum, for example, was 12 years ago now. The results in the Senedd elections as well prove that the desire for Welsh independence is stronger than ever, with Labour being kicked out after 100 years in power in Wales. But now, because it's England, it gets to the front of the queue, it gets top billing. Of course, it always does, and I know I say this as an Englishman myself. But that doesn't mean that I don't see how shitty that is. Because it really is, and I, of course, and all of us here at My Left Eye support Welsh and Scottish independence. But it's we'll just nip to the front of the queue. Telly pip, telly ho.
Powers for our rural economies to address issues specific to them, like inadequate transport. Powers for areas undergoing industrial transition, like Port Talbot, Scunthorpe and Aberdeen. Powers for our proud coastal towns to reimagine themselves for the 21st
Free
century.
ports. Let's talk about free ports.
And yes, more powers for London too, over education and housing, so that London can do more for itself and remain the world's greatest capital city. And you heard that here from Manchester.
Not here from Manchester.
All of it backed by the stability that comes from sound public finances, as I said before, and the discipline of our current fiscal rules. I hope people can begin to feel. Hopefully you can.
Well, there it is with the fiscal rules. Said he'll have to abide by them. And you've fallen at the first hurdle, essentially. Because the fiscal rules are going to turn the pockets out and say, I'm sorry, but you laid in with the same excuses that Keith had. Just in a Mancunian accent with a hint of Scouse.
Some of the excitement that comes with the change that I'm setting out today. It promises a new era of possibility for Britain. Possibility in places that haven't felt it for a very long time. And I know, because I heard that from people on doorsteps in the by-election. But let's give them that feeling, that ability to hope, to aspire to better. The change will be the biggest change in our lifetimes to the way the country is run.
Change
and it
begins
is consistent
now.
with the 2024 manifesto. We will create a more streamlined state with a clearer purpose, to power up all parts of the country and put a laser-like focus on growth and regeneration. Good growth.
Good
the change
growth.
will be driven through the Prime Minister's...
Because we've had growth, it's just been bad growth, you see. That's been, of course, that's been the problem. I feel like a fucking amateur for missing that one. What a schoolboy error. Thanks for pointing that one out, Andy. Of course we've had all this growth. It's just been bad growth, hasn't it? The postcodes as well. And what was it? Streamlining? What? Streamlining? What does that mean? The only thing I can think of that it potentially means is cutting red tape and regulation to keep the rich people happy. What does that mean, though? Streamlining.
Office in an extended operation based here in Manchester.
I don't believe it.
But here's the important thing. It will only be based here. The job of Number 10 North will be to make power flow into the Midlands, into the southwest.
There was a meme going around earlier, and it was Burnham out with the lectern, but outside Number 10 Coronation Street. Of course, set in fictional Weatherfield. Here in the northwest, Manchester.
Into the east of England, and yes, into London, as I said before, as much as into the northeast, Yorkshire and the Humber, and here in the northwest. It will be about offering new opportunities to extend devolution in Scotland.
Oh, whoa, jinx. I was just about to say, can Scotland have their own Number 10? Can Cardiff have their own Number 10?
Wales and Northern Ireland, by taking power
and Belfast
deeper down. The people of Dundee and Bangor feel just as distant from Holyrood and the Senedd as they do from Westminster.
How about hey, trying to overthrow and occupy this country was a complete disaster. Let's just give it back, which would be the morally decent thing to do after all these hundreds of years of occupation and oppression. Fucking hell.
Now get this. Number 10 North will be the nerve centre of a rewired Britain.
Now get this. Here's some words that I think sound good. Streamlined, rewire with the circuit breaker. And they lap it up again. And he's good. We are going to charge forward with the circuit breaker, and it's almost Johnson-esque in its kind of use of adjective. Smash through the Brexit barrier with a circuit breaking. What was that one he said there? Power surge. Let's just. Let's give it back a moment. Get this. Fucking hell. Right, yeah? What, you announcing 3 for 1 on bread? No. Here's a series of words that I think sound really good.
The northeast, Yorkshire and the Humber, and here in the northwest. 10 North will be the nerve centre of a rewired Britain.
Was it the nerve centre of a Get this. I wrote this one myself. All the rest of it was fucking chat GPT. It's going to be the nerve centre. Oh, God. What do you mean you rewired north? Are you going to strip down the fucking ring road and the M62? And there was a hesitation before the applause there, because I don't think they know what it means either. Behold. It's fucking Smithers and Burns time, isn't it, really? Behold your new god. Fucking...
It will be the conduit through which we redistribute power and resources across the UK. It will coordinate all parts of government at national and local level to agree a long-term economic strategy and help all places set new growth ambitions. It will be given a mission to strive for equivalent living conditions in all parts of Britain.
A circuit-breaking, supercharging, powery doopy, other electronic references. A dynamo. He's not done that one yet. What about a dynamo?
Borrowing from the German Basic Law. It will make place-based collaboration the new operating principle for UK PLC, requiring all government departments and agencies to support strategic and local authorities with staffing and resources. And let me say this very directly.
It's either a majority-rigged audience or we're just in complete circus seal territory at this time. He could be reading the fucking phone book at this point, and they're giving him the Stalin treatment.
And let me say this very directly. The days of Whitehall fighting the devolution power into the regions and nations are over, for good.
Bollocks.
I have had 10 years of fighting the Whitehall machine, blocking this place's progress, the progress of people here, and I am simply not prepared to accept the same for any area coming after Great...
Well, we've had a lot of fucking gentrification. But like I said, there's still the homeless crisis, and Piccadilly Gardens and the Spice Heads and all of that, Burnham.
To Manchester, the whole of Whitehall will now be required to get behind our places and work together with them to make quicker, more joined-up decisions. Ours will be a 10-year mission to raise living standards across the land.
Nina Sadie. Good shout in chat, yeah. Devolve the sausages. And Comrie, yeah, if you wanted to be English, you'd move. Good point. I guess that goes for everybody in Wales, Scotland, and I guess you can throw, well, a certain proportion of people in Northern Ireland into that mix as well. And he's totally on an ego trip, as you rightly point out there, Doc. There's a lot of hubris in this, isn't there? He's creating Frankenstein's monster out of Keith's foobar parliament. He is, that's the thing. It's, yeah, good analysis. That's a really good metaphor, actually. Because like I've been saying, it's all about the ingredients that Labour have at the moment. You're looking at the prime ingredient that they have. What would you argue second best was? And bearing in mind you have to... take into account people who've been suspended for being too left-wing and such. But anyway, it drops off, basically. The quality drops off even after the first 2 or 3 very significantly, and then it's just literally what they set it up to be. Cut and paste faces, neolibs, careerists. Over 400 of them turned it into the final scenes of the fucking Matrix.
To do this, Number 10 North will support the regions on 3 clear tasks: reform of essential utilities, reindustrialisation, and the regeneration of places. On
not hearing nationalisation at all, are we? Very fundamentally, we're not hearing the word nationalisation.
Utilities.
skirting around it, dancing around it as much as he can.
On utilities, we will ensure all parts of the UK are able to take greater public control of essential services.
Comrie, nice to see you. Yeah, we'll catch up again soon. Thanks for joining us on stream tonight. Solidari-Tea. You might have also noticed that very telling phrase, if I just skip back a few seconds. Pointed this out in the video as well, I think.
On utilities, we will ensure all parts of the UK are able to take greater public control of essential services.
There it is again. Public control, not ownership, control. Yet again.
Oh, what a giveaway. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, eh? That's what I'm on about.
It is again.
Like water, housing, energy and transport, learning from the model that has transformed our bus networks here in Greater Manchester.
The one that's privatised.
We will set out 10-year plans to bring down the cost of these essentials to individuals,
10
families...
years. Yeah, there it is again. This decade that we've got to spare. On things like the climate crisis, of course, we're way past lots of tipping points. What we could have done shortly before them has determined the future of human existence, essentially. 10 years, 10-year plans, and also sewn into 10-year plans are, of course, well, this means you'll have to re-elect me, otherwise we won't have time to carry out our plans. And you're not allowed to complain until after 10 years. We're definitely going to do it as well. 10 years. Jesus Christ. Will just about be before the complete breakdown of society in the UK, the way the climate crisis is heading, and I'm not being particularly hyperbolic in saying that by that point. Yeah. Look at 2040. Jesus.
Businesses. On reindustrialisation, we will support every region to set clear and credible industrial ambitions and provide the support to achieve them.
Industry, industry, industry.
Encouraging more cross-UK partnership between places with complementary industrial clusters, as Cambridge and Manchester have done on life sciences. We will consolidate public and private investment at a place-based level and help all areas establish good growth funds, as we have done here in Greater Manchester. We are such an inventive country, and going forward, we can be the world's leading innovation nation.
Yeah, we invented concentration camps, for example. We're such an inventive country. Well, we are. I mean, just to be serious. Yeah, tech and innovation, we've had a lot of that in the past, of course. Need we go through the list? A lot of that's even specific to Manchester, you know, invented the computer, that is a device with a memory.
This is the key to higher growth, and I want more world-beating British manufacturers and service providers at the frontier of new technology and exporting to the world. I will back our scientists, technologists, entrepreneurs and creatives, as I have done here, and show how Britain will be the innovation nation of the next decade.
With what money from what part of Labour's fiscal budget? Bearing in mind they've just gone down the back of the sulphur fountain. 15 billion for World War III, which they've just casually announced is going to happen by 2030. If we don't pour a lot of money into the industrial military complex, of course. The fear-mongering has far from reached its peak, by the way, on that one.
We will get better at capturing full value from their ideas for UK PLC by changing the culture in Whitehall when it comes to backing British industry.
So you're going to renationalise everything? Are you going to undo the everything must go great sell-off of the 1980s and 1990s under Margaret Thatcher and John Major?
For too long,
I'll give you a clue. No fucking way.
UK public procurement policy has been based on chasing cut-price deals around the world, rather than helping our own British-based suppliers become more stable and competitive. No more. From here on, every pound raised from taxpayers will work harder for them, and that approach will apply fully.
Did anyone else hear full sanctions on Israel? Boycott and sanctions? No, me neither.
To the Defence Investment Plan. We will make sure that all eligible public contracts are subject to proper social value weighting.
Did anyone else hear not allowing MPs to have second jobs that he just mentioned just there? No, I didn't either. Are we going to have PR? Are we going to rejoin the European Union?
And we will do that to make sure British-based companies are in a better position to win those contracts.
Are you going to unprescribe Palestine action, Andy Burnham? These are the things that people really want to know.
This change is essential, given the need to build our own resilience in places across the country in an increasingly uncertain world. We need to safeguard sovereign manufacturing and production capability across the country in critical sectors like steel, defence, energy, food and farming.
Defence. Defence.
Oh, what a giveaway. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, eh? That's what I'm on about.
No, what else are you going to do? You're going to build a load of autobahns?
Rather than just being prepared to let it go, as we have sadly done in the past. In return, we will recycle maximum benefits for our communities and our residents. For instance, by requiring a much greater supply of 45-day work placements and apprenticeships for young people.
Oh, something of slight substance there. Apprenticeships, that is actually a thing. More apprenticeships for young people. So more underpaid free labour for the corporations in that case. Because that's why they're invented, Andy. I don't know if you're aware of that. But I'm a firm believer if you're doing the same job, you should get the same pay, whether you're 16 or 60.
I take very seriously the findings of the recent report by Alan Milburn. We need a complete rethink of how we support the next generation to succeed. And it has to start with the education system. The days of a school system configured entirely around the university route will be brought to an end. University is great for those who want it, but when are we going to focus on the life chances of those kids who want something different? When? The country hasn't done that for a long, long time. People have argued over many years for an education system based on parity between academic and technical, and that is what we will build, giving every young person growing up here a clear path into a re-industrialised Britain, where young people need...
You're going to march them straight out of school and into the army recruitment office based off what you've just said.
Mental health support, it should be provided as part of in-work support. And we will answer the call from the mayors, and particularly the Mayor of the North East, for devolution of employment support and changing the way we support and sustain people employment, working much more through our community and voluntary sector at a grassroots level, working with organisations people trust to help them, rather than going to places that they fear. This is the difference that the mayors can make, and in doing that, we will reduce the welfare bill in a way that is fair and lasting and helps people move forward.
Cutting welfare.
Another way to do that.
Cutting welfare to help people. What a proposal.
Is by repairing the public housing stock. Britain has lost almost 1.5 million council homes since the 1980s, and around the same number of people are now on housing waiting lists and have been there for a very long time. As a result, the country is in a housing trap. We are forced to chase rents in the private rented sector through the benefits system.
The guy who you're succeeding promised us 1.5 million homes, was it? By the end of the Parliament, we're about halfway through that. They did start to build some, and then it again tapered off very sharply, and now they're pretty much building nothing. Just how many people are there going to be in this series of promises of housing? And it's always in the subtext as well, of course. That's always private housing, not social housing. And he's about to make a very bold claim here for anybody who's not seen the speech in full yet. If you do want to re-watch it, we've got it on our latest non-stream video as well.
When governments try to control these costs by freezing local housing allowance, it makes families homeless and places unfunded pressures on councils when they have to pay for temporary accommodation. Britain's housing crisis is having a ruinous impact on its public finances. So, working with local areas, Number 10 North will oversee the biggest council house building programme since the post-war period.
Wow, you heard it there first. People, in the past that is, here in Manchester, the biggest council house building project since the end of the Second World War. He claims that's a very, very bold claim to make. And lest we remind ourselves, he's still not in Number 10. Good point, Graham. Yes, of course, all the apprenticeships will be in drone manufacturing. That was announced today as well with the defence spending review. A lot of that is going into drone technology. They've seen what's happened in Iran recently, of course, what's ongoing in Ukraine and Russia as well. Drones for a fraction of the cost can be as effective as a lot of much more expensive technology. Iran has certainly humiliated the United States of America where that's concerned. A new day has dawned, has it not? Education, education, education.
We will use public land, vacant public land, to reduce costs. Let me just take you back to when I grew up here in the 1970s, and Steve Rotherham and I have written about this in a certain book. But when we were growing up here, amongst the friends we had at school, there were two things that were the foundations of working class aspiration. A council home, a secure home that was the foundation for everything, and then good technical education. And those things have been taken away in the decades since. So no wonder so many young people struggle to make it work and then don't make it work. Don't blame them. Blame ourselves. We haven't been giving people this stability, this ability to get on in life. And it's time we did and brought back working class aspiration, the chance of somebody growing up here to be everything that they can be. And that's what we'll do.
But aren't these houses just going to be target practice for Vladimir Putin and the Red Army that's going to be sweeping through Europe in the next, 3.5 years? Not even 4 years? Sorry, that was tongue-in-cheek, of course. But again, lacking in detail.
And also make this a city where no one has to leave to get on in life, or any of the other cities represented here today. That's what this new era is going to be all about. A sense of hope, of possibility, that things are achievable that you might not have thought were before. And having this focus on council homes again and building them in all parts of the country, it will represent a decisive shift to a more preventative, productive state, adopting a national housing-first philosophy, as has been pioneered so successfully in Finland. If you don't give people a good home, what chance have they got of having a good life? What chance of making the health service sustainable if people are not living in good accommodation or getting a good education for kids? Everything starts with a good home, and this country finally has to put that at the top of its priority list.
Well, of course, another number one priority. Excuse me. Bear that in mind, people. Of course, we're never short of things that were considered, or Keir Starmer said he considered his number one top priority, were we?
Through this new approach, we will bring higher density residential development to our towns, and Number 10 North will be able to support all places to turn around those towns, their high streets and the local centres, increasing footfall on the high street and protecting more green spaces from development. To reinforce that, we will reform business rates to support pubs and high street businesses, businesses that bring social benefits to communities. And let me finish by saying this. Rather than being a marker of decline, shouldn't we make our high streets the new symbol of Britain's renaissance?
No, that's a very capitalist declaration, if you don't mind my saying so. Or even if you do, Andy. Even if you do.
Ours is a 10-year mission to raise people's living standards.
2036.
I know people can't wait forever for change. I heard on doorsteps in May.
I can't bring myself to think of the state of the planet as a whole, let alone Manchester specifically, or Britain by 2036. It's fucking terrifying.
How people need a bit extra now to help with rising costs. I will do my very best to deliver it. And whilst not taking risks with the public finances, will seek to give Britain some breathing space as soon as I can. People need to be able to look forward.
Can I have some breathing space from the word deliver? Please. That's my fucking top priority at the moment, Andy.
To a night out or a holiday with the kids. People need hope. This brings me back to where I started, and the stories told in this building of how ordinary people, right back to Peterloo 200 years ago here, changed a British state not built with them in mind. Our modern challenge is exactly the same. An economy which, from the mid-1980s onwards, has not been built with them in mind, and instead has handed more to those who already have most and left people overpaying for the basics. If people in 1844 could form the cooperative movement in Rochdale to lower the price of food, then why can't we act now with similar courage to make life better? Imagine what things could be like if we succeed. Imagine what it would feel like to live in a country wired to work for ordinary people rather than against them. Imagine if all local areas could build homes people can afford to the point where they could guarantee one for everyone. Imagine if we could bring down the cost of energy for people and businesses and the good things that would come from that. Imagine good growth in every postcode and hope in every heart.
And the imagining will go on and on for 10 years, because I doubt it'll ever come. And I think he put quite a lot of effort into that phrase there, but messed it up with the delivery, the hope in every heart bit. So he's going to redo it, I think. It really reminds me of the, I've made mention of this before. Do you remember the Enough is Enough campaign, and a rush of people signed up for it within a couple of weeks? They had hundreds of thousands of members at least, and gave talks across the country. This is very similar to that. That was 4 years ago. It would pretty much be exactly 4 years ago almost, I think, because I remember it well. That was in fact the last time I bumped into Burnham in person at one such event in Manchester, at Manchester Cathedral, more specifically. I was there representing Just Stop Oil with a few other of my JSO supporters, and it's the same vibes, but my point is nothing came of Enough is Enough, this thing. Yeah, it disappeared. It evaporated into the ether or whatever. And I'm getting similar vibes with everything that he's saying here, really. He was one of the keynote speakers at the event I referred to at Manchester Cathedral 4 years ago. Now this, I don't know if we'd, don't know what I'd say if our paths crossed, shall we say, next time.
I'll say it again. Imagine good growth in every postcode and hope
Good growth in
every
postcode.
heart. Well, imagine no more.
Morning, how are you? Oh, I'm great. Lots of growth today. Oh, me too. Oh, it's grand, isn't it?
Let's make it happen.
No flags, no slogan on the lectern. Bit different. Obviously, better spoken than Keir Starmer, but we will have to wait and see. Thanks for your 2 cents, your thoughts on that one as we were going through. Yeah, he thinks he's John Lennon now. And we're going to do one of Paul's next. No. But where are we going to next? Let's see.
On with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it.
Well, of course, we're double checking that we've hit thumbs up on the stream first. Aren't we all, people? I certainly hope so. We will stick with the Mancunian theme. Get into the first edition of the latest hot seats. It didn't take too long for another one to come around. Of course, the two are sort of connected, intertwined. Burnham's victory in Makerfield triggering this mayoral election in Manchester. Date is set for the 31st of July, so 4 weeks of campaigning to go. We're going to keep up with the news. As I said earlier, I believe that the Greens have a genuine chance of success, going off of the latest local election results. So let's see what's happening in Manchester, which is here. It's a hot one. It's hot seats, Phil. Thank you. So what's happening here in Manchester? Well, we've got more or less all of the main parties' candidates announced now. Well, you saw the ones we'll be keeping our eye on in the little intro there. Pretty much expected to at best be a 3-horse race between the Green Party, of course, with Geraldine Coggins, who we're backing here on My Left Eye, of course. Do have a short clip of Geraldine Coggins. First of all, just a second, people. Sorry, just making a couple of adjustments here. Yeah, we'll take a look at that clip in a moment from Geraldine. She's up against Sian Astley, who is representing Reform, another female candidate, as you saw in the intro there. And also, is it Beth Craig, who's the Labour representative? Well, we know what we get from a Labour mayor, in Burnham at least. Maybe there might be another by-election somewhere and the Labour candidate can go off and make a prime ministerial challenge. Although it's not much of a challenge if you're the only one standing in a leadership contest, is it? But not even the leader is standing in the leadership contest. It's pretty easy. But this is pretty much why we're going to be backing Geraldine Coggins. She's put out a couple of videos this week. Here's one of them.
You might have heard there's going to be an election here in Greater Manchester on the 30th of July. And it's a straight fight between Reform and me, Geraldine Coggins, your Green candidate. Our city region has changed a lot since I was first elected as a councillor here 8 years ago. People are feeling left behind. The sun is setting on two-party politics and the old establishment parties are fading away. Labour lost 40% of their voters at the May elections, dropping votes across all 10 boroughs. This has created a dangerous environment for those of us who reject the divisive, hateful politics of Reform. But there is hope. There is a way that we can stop them. Momentum is firmly with the Green Party. We have surged ahead in the polls, and we've shown in Gorton and Denton and across Greater Manchester. We are the ones who can stop Reform on the 30th of July. Vote Green. Let's stop Reform again.
That's Geraldine Coggins. Brief but opening pitch, and she's absolutely right. They've absolutely been trailblazing here in Manchester. Sorry, it's Bev Craig who's standing for Labour. Sorry, not Beth Craig. Yeah, and the vote for Labour completely collapsed at the locals, as we saw. Really, potentially something fantastic could happen here in Manchester. I feel a lot more positive about this one than I did the prospects of Makerfield, for obvious reasons. I really would like to hear from fellow Mancunians on this one, in chats if you're watching live, or in the comments if you're watching back later on. I know that we do have a lot of supporters of the Greens from elsewhere, of course, here on the channel. Some of them might even be travelling up to campaign for Geraldine. She's absolutely correct in her assertion that they're the only party that can stop Reform. I would be inclined at this point to think that the Labour votes, now that we've seen Andy Burnham leave under such circumstances, yeah, would be down on last time. And some of the stats in the locals were absolutely staggering. You know, the Greens going on 50. Didn't one of them nearly get 60% of the vote? I think it was in Burnage. Other successes in Rusholme, other areas, Piccadilly. The list goes on and on. So we'll be keeping our eye on the three candidates, like I said, Labour, Reform and Gerald Coggins of the Green Party, whom we back. But it could very soon be apparent that it is a two-horse race. We'll have to see what comes out with the initial polling. We'll take a look at that when it does appear. But that's all for now on the first of this episode of Hot Seats. At least we'll keep you up to speed as we hear more and get closer to this one, but it is a big one. It's a white hot seat here in Manchester. Davinia, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Solidari-Tea. Just rounding up hot seats in Manchester here, and we'll get on to one or two other quick items. Okay. Let's party, Rick.
Okay!
Music's too loud. The neighbours have been complaining. You just watch your steps, Sonny.
Yes, more from Manchester here to come. See a lot of support for the Greens in the chats. Oh yeah, I do seriously think they've got a chance, absolutely. I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. We did back Sarah Wakefield in the Makerfield by-election, of course, but had to accept that she was an outsider. It is definitely a two-horse race. Absolutely do. Moving on from that, though, mentioned before, of course, I'm a supporter of an organisation called Take Back Power. Of course, go through our catalogue if you're not familiar with them, and look them up on takebackpower.net if you want to find out more. But it is at the start of a new campaign. Yes, Take Back Power, who have been on action with, and spent a lot of time in London with in April, filming actions as well. I've started the campaign with a bang. Take a look at this, people. It's obviously a reaction to the Raise the Colours campaign, and I hope that you'll think as I do, that this could prove to be a suitable remedy. Let's see what's happening. That was in Clacton-on-Sea as well, with Take Back Power getting the campaign underway. Do check out takebackpower.net, as you can see. Still working on equipment and stuff with the ladders. Again, you can go to takebackpower.net, or if you want to check out more footage from the actions, go through our back catalogue. More on that to come. There might be quite a bit of that to come as well. Keep you up to speed as always. And again, another organisation that sadly doesn't exist anymore, but one that I thoroughly campaigned with during its existence, Just Stop Oil. And there's been a verdict on a particular case involving a couple of friends of mine, Jane Twill and Phoebe Plummer, who did a spraying action at Heathrow Airport. They've been found guilty of criminal damage and other such charges. But the question was, both of them having previously served prison sentences, whether they would have another prison charge on the rap sheets. First of all, we're going to take a look back at the footage from the original action. This is from JSO's YouTube, not one that I filmed actually, but involving two friends of mine. For anybody who missed it the first time around, yeah, this is Heathrow Airport. I have done spraying action myself. Yeah, that's all I'll say. I was arrested and everything, don't worry. If anyone's listening, I've been through the whole process for that one, I assure you. So it was actually 2 years ago. Yeah, right over the TVs. So Jane as well did the M25 gantry action, where they blocked the London Outer Ring Road, of course. Phoebe was involved with that as well. She also famously did the soup on the sunflowers. I've known Jane pretty much as long as I've been with Just Stop Oil. To be honest, she was even at the first ever meeting that I was invited to. Yeah, and I did my non-violence training with Phoebe in the very early days as well, and of course done actions with both of them since. This one was quite stunning, though. You do have to agree. So let's see some more.
Refuse to die for fossil fuels. We have seen the hottest 2 days in recorded history. Last year was the hottest year in recorded history. Our world is burning. Climate breakdown is accelerating and people are dying all around the world right now. Earlier this year, Professor Sir David King, former Chief Scientific Advisor to the UK government, said, if we stick to current targets, net zero by 2050, perhaps some form of humanity will survive. Oil kills. I refuse to stand by while hundreds of millions of people die needlessly because of fossil fuels. I refuse to die for fossil fuels.
She's always a fantastic speaker, Jane. Really, when you see her speak at talks and things like this, it's actually normally and a softer tone, it has to be said. Great projection there, of course, but it's difficult not to be brought to tears, not just as someone who knows her personally, but the severity of the climate crisis as she's just rightly and so well spelled out there. She is actually a retired teacher. She's registered blind as well. And like I said, it's always great to hear Jane speak. I think Phoebe's going to give some testimony now.
People around the world are rising up to say that we will not die for fossil fuels. Ordinary people are doing what our governments refuse to do. We're cooperating globally to put a stop to fossil fuels by 2030. We're saying we will not stand by and do nothing whilst this suffering unfolds. If you don't want to let people die for an oil company's profits either, you can support us at juststopoil.org. This international uprising is called Oil Kills, because that's the reality of the situation that we're in. When we talk about taking action on the climate crisis, I used to think that we were talking about stopping using plastic straws to save the turtles. That's so far from the truth. Not taking basic, common sense action on the climate crisis, keeping on burning fossil fuels, means the deaths of innocent people. Our government, by refusing to take this action, are sentencing countless millions of innocent people to their deaths.
Just the little, for security reasons at the end. Great testimony from both Jane and Phoebe there. Just as it was the first time around, the first time I saw that clip 2 years ago, when I found out that they'd done the action. I can't believe the amount of time that they had to speak, given the fact that it was an airport. There'd been other situations that actions were due to early police intervention. You don't get a lot of time to say a lot, but it was really good to hear Jane and Phoebe's testimonies, respectively, in that case. Of course, that was one of the final big actions of Just Stop Oil before we hung up the orange vests, as it were. Well, quite literally as well, outside of Shell HQ after the final march as well. So, as I said earlier, they obviously were arrested, put on trial, and sentenced. And sentenced, but and found guilty. The question was whether they'd receive custodial sentences, and I can now tell you it's not exclusively. This was revealed earlier today, that it's a no prison situation, people. Fortunately, it has been adjudged that there will be no custodial sentence. I believe there has been a fine, of course. These sort of spraying actions often do come with a fine, criminal damage charges, as well as restricted or essentially zero access to Heathrow Airport itself, but no prison. Really proud of Jane and Phoebe for that one. Another really brave action from the two of them. Yeah, it's always, well, it always was, I should say, an absolute pleasure to be on action with them. Do let me know your thoughts on that one. Of course, pretty controversial at the time. But it has to be that way if you're going to get the airtime. It's the only way that you can get the message across, unfortunately. Lugaroo celebrating there, and Solidarity Fists in chat as well, I can see. Thank you very much for those people. Of course, I continue to campaign, as I said, with Take Back Power. Right, people, do stay put where you are, although we are ourselves coming close to the end of the stream.
And I'm getting quite near the end now of this analysis.
Before we do go, of course, I need to give another shout out to all the members on the channel, 151 now. It can't be stated how much we appreciate our audience here on My Left Eye and here on live streams as well. So thank you very much for all of your contributions, whether that's with gifted memberships, renewing your own memberships, super chat, super stickers, super thanks, or the Buy Me a Coffee page. The description, the link for which, I always get those mixed up. The link for which is in the description of any content on the channel. Hype points are really important as well. We did a poll on the last stream. About 40% of you said that you prefer to watch our streams via a mobile device, and if it's the same case for our videos, we would really like it if you'd open a video on a mobile device, hit thumbs up and give some hype points. That's another way to support the channel. Thank you very much, everybody, for all of your contributions. Solidarity. You're a good bunch. And we'll be raiding, of course. Let's see if anyone's still online. While I sort that out, just a quick reminder, of course, I'll be back with more live streams through the week, so hit the notification bell, and then you won't miss out on any of that. We're going to be raiding into this space over in the States. As the international efforts continue. Speaking of efforts, excellent effort in the chat from Graham with the super chat there. You're always welcome here to blow off some steam, and solidarity, viva viva Palestina, of course, as always. Yeah, great to see you as always, Graham. Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts in the chat as well. Wholeheartedly agree with those points. Everybody else has been amazing in the chat. Darren Smith, sorry, I don't think I gave you a shout out earlier on as well. Nice to see you also. If I have missed out any other names, apologies. So that just about wraps it up, people. All that remains is for me to thank you. This has been the Brews at 10. On my left eye, I've been your humble host, Lefty. And I'll say power to the people. Free Palestine, Lebanon, Sudan and Yemen. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Don't watch the news. Be the news. And my left eye will be seeing you soon. Good night, people. Solidarity.
The door is open and you can leave.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn mind.